Welcome to the 2016 MSPT Iowa State Poker Championship from Meskwaki Casino. I am Chad Holloway, MSPT Media Director, doing commentary duties tonight. Currently flying solo because the gentleman who was supposed to be my co-host, my co-commentator, is actually at this final table. Wisconsin's Josh Rikard, an MSPT champ, did the last broadcast with us when we were at Firekeepers Casino in Michigan back in May, and the plan was for him to be here, but as you can see, he's right there in the red hat, going for MSPT title number 2. He won the MSPT Ho-Chunk back in season 4. Coincidentally, I was actually not working for the MSPT at the time and was at the final table myself. I finished 5th, he finished 1st, and now he's at a final table again, and I am watching. But going to do my best. Hopefully going to have some co-commentators come in throughout the night. And I'll give you a roundup of just who's at this final table as soon as we finish the first hand here. Carter Myers fires in a bet of $55,000. He was the chip leader coming into this final table, and it's going to get the job done. So Carter Myers out of Breckenridge is in the 1 seat, and I don't know where Breckenridge is. I'm going to look real quick. Breckenridge, Michigan. And there you see the chip counts. Seat number 2 is Kurt Bailey's out of Cedar Falls, Iowa, looking to keep the Iowa State Poker Championship title here on home turf. Seat number 3, Big Al Heaton out of Keystone, Colorado. He was the Day 1A chip leader. In the 5 seat, Josh Rikard out of Janesville, Wisconsin. Talked a little bit about him already. Seat 6, involved in that first hand, was Josh Smith out of Bentendorf, Iowa. Keith Block is next out of Pomona, New York. Professional poker player. He is in the, I believe it's the 7 seat. The seats are a little skewed as we only have 9 players at this final table. The reason for that is because there was a double elimination right on the final table bubble. Rich Alsup busted in 11th place at one table, and at the same time, Garrett Riley of Quincy, Illinois, busted at the other. So got us down to 9 players. There in the yellow hoodie, Alan Cutler out of Northbrook, Illinois. Alan's been pretty talkative leading up to this final table, and I'm guessing it's going to continue. Seat 8, in the baseball cap on the other side of the table, Nick Manganaro out of Omaha, Nebraska. And in seat 9, a familiar face to anybody who's tuned in to MSPT Meskwaki final table broadcast back in March, Jason Ramos out of Carroll Stream, Illinois, topped the field of 466 players to win the MSPT 100th, our 100th ever main event, right here in Meskwaki. He took home a little over $108,000 for that performance, and he's looking to go back to back. This is our first time being back at Meskwaki since Ramos won, and now here he is at the final table once again. Making that even more impressive is the fact that the 466 field from the MSPT 100 was the largest ever major in Iowa State poker history. We actually surpassed that, broke that record in the Iowa State Poker Championship this weekend. 496 runners, the largest ever major. By that I mean 1,000 plus buy-in poker tournament in history, and it's also, by default, the largest ever MSPT Meskwaki. This is our 17th visit to the property, so it's just seems to be growing and growing here in Meskwaki, located just outside Tama, Iowa. And Rikard's 3-bet is going to get through. Another interesting fact about this final table, I mentioned that Big Al Hidden was the day 1A chip leader. You can see there he has 1.3 million. Just above him at 1.5 million, Jason Ramos was the day 1B chip leader. And it's pretty rare for these MSPT final tables to see both the chip leaders from the starting flights make such deep runs. But here they are in the final 9.
One raises to 80,000. 2 folds, 3 folds, 5 folds.
Myers going to pop it to 80,000 with King Jack.
80.
Cutler looks on at pocket 6s in the small blind. He's going to call. See a flop. He's out of position here, hoping a third 6 appears on the flop. But it's not there. Myers pairs his jack, takes the lead. It's going to go check, bet, fold. I stand corrected. Check, check. Free card for Cutler. He misses. Now 2 clubs out there. Straight board, 2 checks to him. Myers is going to bet. Doesn't look like Cutler's going to believe him. Makes the call. He's going to need 1 out. The 6 of diamonds, it's not there. One of the 6s was folded pre-flop. Let's see if Myers goes for some value. It's 520,000 in the pot. I'd bet 240, something right around there if I was in his shoes. Right around half pot. 140, he's going even a little more smaller value, making it really tempting for Cutler. And 4-1 on a call. If he thought his 6s were good on the turn, he's got to figure they're good on the river as well. Question is, did Myers catch a piece of the flop? Which we know he did. Or if you're in Cutler's shoes, you're thinking, did he somehow miss a draw? Did he have a 10 in his hand? He's going to pay it off. And with that, for the first time in this tournament, a player has eclipsed the 2 million chip mark. So Carter Myers at 2.4 million opens things up a little bit. Carter Myers is actually having himself a pretty good year. His prior best finish on an MSPT was 8th place. He's primed to go a little deeper than that here. 3 cashes for $15,286. But back in the Chicago Poker Classic earlier this year, he finished first in a $600 buy-in 6-max tournament for $28,742. So a nice 5-figure score for him already in 2017, and here he is competing for even more money and an MSPT title. Speaking of the money, the winner of this event is going to walk away with $115,109. Runner-up going to get just under $70,000. All 9 of these players guaranteed $10,743. So they're already in the 5-figure range for prize money. You see the prizes listed there on the right-hand side. You can see what we're playing right now. Level 26, blinds 20,000, 40,000 with a 5,000 ante. So Block raises with an ace-10. Cutler, who just lost a good portion of his stack, calls in position on the button with king-10 of diamonds. And nothing there for either player. Cutler with a running diamond draw. Let's see if Block has a continuation bet in him.
That's 105.
And he does put out the C-bet, and it's going to work. Keith Block, who just won that pot, has won MSPT cash before this tournament, but it was a big one. It was a runner-up finish in the MSPT Regional in Blackhawk, Colorado, Golden Gates Casino earlier this year. $66,387. So that's almost second place money in this tournament. It was a big one. So obviously he knows how to navigate these MSPT final tables. He's also an experienced online player, played online under the name Dr. Fells. It's an interesting spot for Cutler here. He had lost that big pot, defended loose with a king 10 suited, and now he looks down at aces, folds to him in the cutoff. He's going to come in with a raise. Now, how are the other players going to perceive this? Ramos going to ditch. Myers, though, with an ace 8 in the big blind, he has the big stack. In his mind, he's probably thinking Cutler steaming. He's been losing since he sat down at this final table, and he's going to peel a flop. Myers going to need a ton of help to win this hand, and that's not going to do him any favors. The case ace hits the flop. Cutler top set, Myers top pair. My guess is Cutler's going to double up in this hand. Myers checks it to Cutler, who bets a third of the pot, about a quarter of his stack. Now Myers just going to call. Think of, I'm in Cutler's shoes here. You got to ship it. The only hand that beats you is 3-4. You got 340,000 in the stack. There's 590 in the pot. And that's exactly, oh no, he left 2 stacks behind. So he's going to bet 200,000, leaving himself 140,000 behind. Myers is going to pay it off. Could very well have paid off another 140 had Block moved all in. We will never know. But a nice pot for Block there, taking a bite out of the chip leader. Alan Cutler out of Northbrook, Illinois. In 2008, he actually finished 5th in a WSOP $2,000 No Limit Hold'em event out in Las Vegas. That was good for $223,497. Under how did you get into the MSPT main event on his bio sheet, which we mean, did you qualify? Did you win a satellite? Did you direct buy?
Nice hand, Carter.
Alan Cutler wrote, drove in from Chicago.
There was only one problem with that hand. The pot could have been a little bit bigger.
You had like 180K left. It got big enough.
I'm making a
He's
joke.
mad he didn't get a full double.
I think I got max value.
He's the extreme
I got paid on
pessimist.
every straight.
Very. Extreme pessimist. You can
You
find
didn't
bad
bet
in
the
anything.
flop.
Anything.
You checked it wisely, didn't you?
3
I don't
folds.
think it really mattered.
No, he said he got paid on every street.
Yeah.
Well,
4 folds.
you know, you're gonna get all technical on me. Come
6
on.
folds.
You got paid well. It was a very nice hand.
Beg to differ.
You wouldn't have liked the charades if the club hit.
You
and
told
he
him
shot.
nice hand before I did. You can't beg to differ now.
He had a nice hand, but the hand in itself
95,000.
wasn't nice.
8 folds, 9 folds, 10 folds.
From Colorado. How far is it? Did you fly here?
Oh, no. I'm traveling pro. I live on the road.
Okay.
So,
You don't really stay in Colorado too often?
no, just a little condo I had there and a little 40-foot RV and
What's next from here?
Durant to the WPT. Windmill.
They got their $1 million event this weekend, right?
They got the what?
There was their $1 million
350, 1
$350.
million. What's going on right now? Lowry, no
It's
Lowry.
a great crowd.
No Lowry.
Block, pocket 7, raises to 95,000, middle position. Myers, ace-king suited, 3-bets it from the small blind. Another interesting spot where Myers just lost a big pot. Might look to his opponents that he's tilting a bit or just trying to recoup what he's lost, but he's got a big hand. Block, though, the nice hand of his own. Myers, 3-bet, a little bit on the heftier side due to the fact that he is in the small blind. He doesn't want to give his opponent too good of a price to call in position. He's going to charge him a little extra if he wants to play it. Block, debating what to do. 190,000 to him. He's only got 885 in a stack. Essentially has to call 23% of his stack if he wants to see a flop. He's no doubt thinking about shipping it, but folding in this spot also an option. And that's what he's going to do. He's going to ditch it.
Right down the street.
Once again, for those tuning in, I am Chad Holloway, flying solo in the commentator booth at the moment. Reason being, my co-commentator scheduled to appear tonight on tonight's stream is Josh Rikard, who's sitting there between the 4 and 5 seats in the red hat. So he made the final table and left me all alone back here. It's a good enough excuse, though. I can totally understand. I would do the same to him.
I was gonna go to Foxwoods, but I have a family wedding and I can't go. I mean, I can't miss the family wedding. I can't go to the. There's a WSOPC in Foxwoods.
Oh.
No. I gotta go to the family wedding. So Evansville, Indiana looks. I think that's the one that works for
He's
me.
got his priorities straight.
90,000. 6 folds, 7 folds, 8 folds, 9 folds, 10 folds.
Where's your family wedding at?
Radisson Blue downtown.
Oh, so it's local. It's home.
Chicago. Yeah. My niece is getting married. It's a big fancy wedding. I can't miss it. For a poker tournament, my kids would kill me.
1 raises. 235.
Rikard, suited connectors, raises under the gun, 90,000. Myers, second hand in a row that he's going to 3-bet it. Queen Jack of Hearts. Big Al, pocket 5s in the big blind, lets him go. And Rikard gets rid of it. There you see 20 minutes left in this level. MSPT main events, 40-minute levels throughout.
to deal with it. I'd rather be like this than hot.
6 folds. 7 folds. 8 folds. 9 folds. 10 folds. Raises to 80.
Myers keeping the pressure on. King, queen offsuit from the cutoff.
2 calls.
Kurt Bales, though, on the button.
3 calls.
Ace Jack, gonna call. That price is in Big Al with his Ace 9 suited, and Rikard getting a discounted price from the big blind. Jack 7 suited, he's gonna make the call. 4-way action to the flop.
2 check. 3 check. 5 check. 3 check, 5 check.
Myers, the only player with a piece of it, flops top pair. It's a hammerlock on the hand, 79% favorite to take this down. So expect this continuation bet to do the trick.
2 fold. 3 fold. 5 fold.
It's be glad that what if it's got stuff inside? You gotta bust it up and come back.
As you heard Jason Ramos say there, MSPT final tables are supposed to be 10-handed. There have been no eliminations thus far on the live stream, but yet there are 9 players remaining. Reason being, we lost 2 players, Rich Alsop and Garrett Riley, at the same time on the final table bubble. They were at different tables, got it in, both lost, and just like that, we're down to 9.
10 fold. One raises to 80. 2 folders. 5 folders. 6 folds.
Speaking of bubbles, I'm guessing that she's watching right now. Nikki Nelson, one of our favorites on the MSPT, actually bubbled this tournament in 46th place. 45 spots got paid. It was particularly brutal. She got her short stack in with Ace King against the King Jack of Brian Weipert. The flop came 10-8 Queen to give Weipert the open-ended straight draw, which he hit after the dealer burned and turned to 9. She left empty-handed. The remaining 45 players locked up $2,398. Some of the players who cashed in this event: Dustin Dirksen, well-known pot limit Omaha player here in Iowa, finished 39th for $2,398. Some of you might remember him from our pot limit Omaha 510 cash game live stream here at Meskwaki Casino last year. He was the big winner in that game. I think he took home something around the mark of $40,000. Not bad for 9 or 10 hours at the table. Todd Melander, longtime MSPT regular, 31st place for almost $2,900. Jay Phillips, the last woman standing in the 2017 Iowa State Poker Championship, finished 28th for $2,878. Ku Vang, all you Minnesota poker players out there no doubt know about Ku. He's an MSPT champion himself. He finished runner-up in the 2016 Wisconsin State Poker Championship to Andy Rubenberg. Ku made a deep run, finishing 24th for just shy of $3,600. Minnesota John Hanner, He took 18th for $4,625.
Yeah, it wasn't like. You were there. Yeah. I didn't see it, published. Yeah. You know what it's about?
Earlier this year, John Hanner took down the Minnesota State Poker Championship for $45,000. That was held up at Canterbury Park, just south of the Twin Cities.
Six raises at 180. Seven fold.
It started last year when the ACC canceled the first play.
Oh, okay.
Eight fold.
I got you.
So that, I remember seeing that and then it skewed over. So yeah, that's what happened.
Three bet there from Smith is going to take it down. Picking up where I left off. 17th place, finishing one spot better than John Hanner, was Jonathan Kim. You might remember him from December. He won the MSPT Season 7 Grand Finale at Canterbury Park.
First time and only time so far.
Rob Wazwaz finished in 16th place. Jason Trezak from Indiana took 14th. A belated happy birthday to him. He celebrated his birthday this weekend with us here at Meskwaki Casino. Thomas Peebles finished in 12th place. He was runner-up in the 2015 Wisconsin State Poker Championship to Ben Wyora. And then in 11th place, Rich Alsop, a former MSPT Meskwaki champion and the reigning MSPT Player of the Year. Gennaro, frustrated, no doubt. He's in the big blind. It's eating up a big portion of his stack. Looks down at Jack 4. Nothing he can do. He has to ditch it. Chances are the rest of his chips are going to go in on this next hand. Just have to wait and see. But yeah, he came into the final table, short stacked, hasn't really played a hand, just getting eaten up by the blinds and antes. He's a business owner from Omaha, Nebraska, the Blue Chip Lounge. His most recent cash was this summer, took 38th in a $2,500 no-limit hold'em event out at the World Series of Poker for just over $9,000. He's going to better that here today, even if he is the first to leave, guaranteed $10,743. And that's likely what's going to happen here. Bale's going to raise it up with pocket jacks. And it'll likely fold to Gennaro in the small blind, who will commit his remaining $80,000 with a king 9. I was mistaken. He releases the king 9. Not a big fan of that fold. You already have 20% of your remaining stack invested. King 9 is a fairly decent hand there. You're getting a little protection, but he opts to fold it. He is down now to under 2 big blinds.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like some of the WPTs, I was going to get a spot where like I've probably been to those
Yeah,
spots,
it's a
you know?
they're more commercial.
Yeah, yeah.
Two folds. Three folds. Five folds. Six folds.
The hand that Gennaro has been waiting for. He's got an ace-queen No matter what happens ahead of him, his chips are going in. And he's going to have the best of it. In fact, it looks like he's going to be at risk against Block, who he has dominated ace-queen to ace-8. Manginaro's patience could pay off here. He'll more than double up when you take into account the blinds and antes. But that's assuming they get it in heads up and he can dodge an 8. Well, forget everything I just said, because Carter Myers going to get frisky out of the small blind with a 7-3 offsuit. So Manginaro looking to more than triple up with the best hand. He's still got it. Top pair, best kicker. Block paired his ace as well. Myers paired his 3. So as long as there's not a 7, 3, or 8 on this flop, Manginaro is going to triple, and that's exactly what's going to happen. So just like that, Nick Manginaro out of Omaha, Nebraska. Still the short stack, but he's actually got more now with 360,000 than he had coming into the final table with 325,000. Don't call it a comeback yet, but it's certainly a start. So it's going to be interesting here with Jason Ramos. He's not only looking to go back-to-back here at MSPT Meskwaki events, which should just be incredible. Chances are he's going to be right in the thick of things, no matter where he finishes at this final table, on the MSPT Season 8 Player of the Year leaderboard presented by Kimosabi Mezcal. Right now, Keith Heine, former MSPT Meskwaki champ, leads with 2,200 points. Mike Shanahan, the MSPT Firekeepers champ, behind him with 2,000 points. They're out in front, but neither of them were able to cash here at the Iowa State Poker Championship. Meanwhile, Ramos, who already won one title this season, is currently sitting 15th with 1,550 points. So he's going to add to that considerably thanks to another final table appearance, and could very well take over the lead. Here we go, Manginaro all in once again. Myers wakes up with pocket kings. Manginaro just 12% to survive this. But that's a pretty good flop for him. His 12% just increased to 31. Flops top pair with a gut shot. He's looking for a 9, queen, or 10. It's not there. 9, queen, or 10. 6 of them remain. He needs it on the river. And it doesn't happen. 7 of diamond pairs the board, and we are going to say goodbye to Nick Manginaro, business owner out of Omaha. He's going to take home $10,743 for his first ever MSPT cash. Congratulations to Nick, and we hope to see you again on the MSPT.
I didn't say he shouldn't play his rush and see a flop, but he didn't have to shove.
He had no action before me, right?
No, tons of fold equity in that, yeah, for sure. Yeah, no action, he was the
I
first to
still showing
shove.
10, right? In the setup.
Like you said, we all have multiple
Yeah.
sources.
You still live, you still live in New York?
Yeah.
You come out here just for this?
You know, I had to come out and meet a friend. And,
Oh, I see.
In
So-
Chicago, he said, right?
Yeah, my friend was
Where in
from
Chicago?
They met in Des Moines, though.
Yeah. I don't know
Five
if
folds.
even where in Chicago. You just gotta go down
6
a
folds.
bit.
Covered. Yeah. 7 folds. 8 folds.
What suburb are you in, Jake?
10 folds. Carroll Stream. Next to Wheaton, you know? Mark?
Not much. My wife's from
Sunrises to
Cicero.
80. Okay, about 30 minutes. 2 folds. 3 calls. Heads up. 3 checks.
His heads up to this flop. Myers raised to 80,000. Big Al defended from the big blind. Flop's pretty good. He's got bottom pair, but he's got the nut flush. Nut flush redraw, that is. Fall back on. I like this bet by Big Al. It's testing the waters a little bit. He figures his hand's good, but even if he gets called or if he gets raised, he's got that ace of diamonds to fall back on. So unless he hits the flush here, which he doesn't, he's going to check it. And then Myers kind of floated the turn. He had the 8 of diamonds, not much else. He's going to have to take a stab at it. And actually, it looks like Big Al's going to bet it. I like it. It kind of takes away Myers' incentive, if you will, to bluff at it. But Myers cannot win this pot unless he does take a stab at it. So let's see. See if he's got it in him. He's certainly got the chips to do so. And there it is. Nice move by Myers. That's why he just flatted there on the turn. He was floating. He was setting it up. He gets Big Al to lay down the best hand. You can see he's up to 3.7 million in chips. Blind's about to go up in less than 2 minutes. So Myers has a nearly 3-1 chip lead over his next closest competition, which is Josh Rikard and Jason Ramos. Everyone else under $1 million in chips. And there you can see it. This is going to be interesting. Block shoves with pocket 10s. Ramos pocket 9s. It's going to take about half of Ramos's remaining stack if he's going to call. It's definitely a tough spot for him. But he's going to do it, and he's not going to like it. We already saw that one of the 9s was folded pre-flop. So Ramos is going to be drawing to the case 9 or some other combination of straight cards or diamonds. You hear MSPT Eric there. Sounds like there was a 10 on the flop. I'm sorry, it was a 10 on the turn. And the interesting card gives Block a set, also gives Ramos the open-ender. And he's 1 pip off. He was looking for a 7 or a queen. It was a 6. So Block is going to ship the double, and him and Ramos basically going to flip-flop on the chip counts.
Push them this way, Matt.
That's great. That's good. Thank you.
But no, don't give it to him.
Yeah, I don't wanna do that.
He doesn't need any more luck or chips or anything. Give him over here. You can keep the chips, I just want some of the luck.
On 27, and you see as a result, some of those short stacks got a little bit shorter in comparison to the blinds, but still plenty of play. Jason Ramos, a few weeks back, finished in exactly 1,000th place in the 2017 WSOP main event. Got himself a min cash, $15,000, and that brought his total earnings up to $299,344. So he's going to skyrocket past the 300,000 in tournament earnings mark here. And if he has his way, he'll win this and go right on through the 300,000s into 400,000. But it's going to be hard for him because he's got it in here now with pocket 10s, and he's run it smack dab into Cutler's pocket kings. So Jason Ramos, who is looking to go back-to-back here at MSPT Meskwaki, is going to need some help. He doesn't get too much on the flop. Gives him some runner straight opportunities. And that takes it away. He's going to need one of the 2 remaining 10s in the deck, or his hopes of going back-to-back are over. And it's good game, Jason Ramos. The last time we seen him on the live stream, he took down the MSPT Meskwaki for over $108,000. But today he's going to have to settle for 8th place, $12,710. No doubt he wanted to do better, but from a fan perspective, pretty impressive for him to win what was then the largest poker major in Iowa State poker history, and then to come right back months later and finish 8th.
And he won 2 at Canterbury and won 1 in the middle of that, didn't he?
Somewhere.
Yeah.
Colorado, I think.
Yeah, he was on fire for sure. And then he almost won this one again. Final table this one again.
Yeah.
You can hear the players talking about our 3-time MSPT champ, Carl Caradenudo. At the end of Season 6, he won MSPT Canterbury, came back in April, won the same event, he successfully defended his title. Ramos was looking to replicate that feat, but came up short. And then Caradenudo later in Season 7 won the MSPT Golden Gates for his record 3rd title. Ramos's departure also means that Josh Rikard is the only MSPT champ remaining. He's looking to become a 2-time champ. Aside from Caradenudo, there are 7 other 2-time MSPT champs. Rikard could become the 8th. Cutler pocket ace is going to raise and take it.
One time for the boys.
Oh.
That's pretty
Kings
sick.
and aces.
I'm on tilt. Nobody
Earlier in the tournament, Cutler was referencing, I think it was John Hesh from the 2017 WSOP main event final table. He brought the fun back in poker, as they say. He was quite the character. And Cutler trying to bring the fun back to the MSPT this weekend.
I didn't have big hands on that. I don't know what.
It was John Hesp, not Hesh.
maybe color up some of these things. You already read my mind.
Make sure you look good for the camera.
Well, the chair legs down there. Gosh, yeah, one raise 100.
It wasn't me you ran into, so.
Two raise. 100.
Okay,
Is that fit?
$500,000. There you go.
2 calls. 3 folds, 5 folds.
6 folds.
Come on.
7's all in.
Oh, Russia's coming 3, but you just ruined my party.
8 folds. 1 fold. 2 folds.
Blocks a big slick shove. Gonna take it down. See there, Myers holding a bit of a lead over the rest of the field. 2 players now down under 10 bigs. Kurt Bales and Big Al Heaton. Haven't talked a lot about Josh Smith out of Bettendorf, Iowa. He is a stay-at-home dad. Won his way into this tournament via a $250 satellite. Plays poker a couple times a month, and here he is at an MSPT final table.
Jason departed. I didn't get a handshake, a hug, a kiss, nothing.
1's all in.
My Chicago homeboy.
He raises it up. Myers, the chip leader, looks down at pocket sevens. The big blind going to put him to the test. Moves all in. I think Smith's going to ditch it here. Just Hollywood a little bit. Make it look like he's got a much bigger hand than ace-5 offsuit. And there he goes. He lets it go. Last November, the MSPT Meskwaki, Josh Smith finished 15th place for a little over $5,000. He's doing a bit better here this go around.
You got a third of the chips in play. That's so sick. That's so sick.
Now you're just gonna
Good
make
for
me
you,
feel like
buddy.
shit when I get 6th.
He wanted to announce that to everybody on the computer in case they
Where's
didn't
all
know.
in? 5
He
folds.
said you're gonna make me feel like shit when I get 6.
6 folds. 7 folds. 8 folds. 1 fold.
You know what I'm going to tell you? Final tables don't come along that often. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the moment while
2
it
folds.
lasts. But being chip leader of final table, it's orgasmatic. And no matter
I thought you did too.
I know.
no matter where you walk, no matter where you
Felt
walk
it.
out the door,
I thought I did too.
Everybody regrets the last
Honestly, I
hand.
thought for sure he was feeling
and there's only one
something.
person's going to ever be fully satisfied, the winner. Whether you come in second, third, fourth, 7, 8, 9, only the winner is 100% happy.
Right?
Everybody else is like, oh, that last hand, what happened?
That'd be tough.
The hand that guts you,
Tough, but
you
it's
know, and
definitely
takes your stack.
possible.
Figured I'd just sit back, take the opportunity to let the players be my co-commentators. Get to hear little words of wisdom from Alan Cutler. Josh Smith, ace queen, going to raise and more than likely take it. Big Al lets the queen 9 go.
Not for sure. Trying to tell me you got that read on me. I knew you did. Kind of switch my left hand this way or something. You seem to know what I did.
Now, since we last joined you on the MSPT live stream, which again was back in May for the MSPT Firekeepers, we had a lot of things occur over the summer. Most notably,
Oh, yeah.
the MSPT Venetian. That was won by a Russian player. I'm going to butcher his name, Nadir Kakmazov. 3,273 players. He took down the title for almost 400,000. A couple weeks later, he ended up topping a field of 574 players in a World Series of Poker $5,000 six-handed no-limit hold'em event for an additional 580,000 and his first World Series of Poker gold bracelet. So Nadir Kakmazov, in the space of just a few weeks, won the largest ever MSPT main event and a World Series of Poker gold bracelet. Pretty good for the 29-year-old Russian pro. Last weekend, we held a $350 regional at Potawatomi Casino in downtown Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That one ended up being the largest ever poker tournament ever held in Wisconsin. It got 1,658 entries, and it was won by a local attorney, recreational player, Matthew Vignale, for just over $70,000. So a back-to-back weekends, back-to-back records for the MSPT in both Wisconsin and Iowa.
Be a well-known actor back in the day.
Oh, Modine, Matthew Modine.
Matthew Modine, yeah.
And the
Matthew
white
Modine.
was, she's a big name too.
5 raises, 250.
No, and he got it.
That was a sick movie and a sick plot.
Trying to see how bad it hurts you if you, even if you have to. That's all. I know you gotta tell me.
So Myers, the chip leader from the hijack,
Oh yeah, it doesn't hurt.
once again plays a 7-3. Raises to 100,000. Josh Rikard, ace-8 offsuit of the small blind. 3 bets it and is going to win it.
That just makes me mad. Thanks a lot, Carter. I didn't want to see it, maybe. Don't I have a choice in this? I was in the hand, too. I didn't want to see that car. What's that? No, I had ace. I had an ace, a big ace. But
Yeah, 90 is really what it should have
but
been.
not
Yeah,
that
90.
big. So I guess it kind of makes me happy because obviously,
550.
whatever it was.
I think seeing that card should make you happy.
Yeah, whatever it was, yeah, I didn't have it beat.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, no. Yeah, more than likely, yeah, it makes me happy.
How much did you have? 700? A little less. 600.
Yeah, so it's gonna be hard for you to like, you're obviously going, I don't even know what you had.
Even if I didn't have a better hand than I would get.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I would
saying.
get it there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't know, you're just never
Five raises to 110. Six is all in.
Ooh, here we go. Rikard raises the button block, looks down at an ace-10 in the Smith looks down at the pocket queens in the small blind. I got my big blind, small blind reverse there. He's going to shove for 700K. Block in the big blind with an ace-10. He's tempted. He's going to figure his ace-10 could very well be ahead of Smith's range. Little does he know he's crushed. I think Block get his count, realize he's not going to sacrifice almost half his stack, and ditch it over to Rikard, who will fold behind. Ooh, I was wrong. Block is going to go with it. He's not going to like it. Rikard folded. Yeah, this isn't three-way. So we got ace-10 versus pocket queens. 10 high flop. Block gets a little piece of it. Neither player has diamonds, so Block looking for an ace or a 10. That's not going to do it. He's got 4 outs headed to the river. Otherwise, Smith is going to ship the double up. And that's what he does. His pocket queens turn into a queen high straight. And he's going to go to 1.5 million. Block going to drop down to 970,000.
And then all in. 615 was also all in, but I don't know the other all in size.
Alright, 2550.
Coins.
I gotta wake up with something finally. Is that what you're complaining about? Or that
One
they
raises
actually
to
won?
100.
It's just a nice hand.
2 folds. 3 folds. 5 folds. Six raises to 275. 7 folds, 8 folds. One fold.
If I flat, you would.
Through level 27.
Win, right there.
There you can see the current chip counts. Myers still well out in front.
Flat up fold. Yeah. flat, I fold.
Those are the options. These are bigger than fold.
Yeah. Too flat, I fold.
He's out.
We lost 9s against 10s and then 10s against kings.
I busted him with kings against them.
Not a 9 in the window with the hand when he had 10s, when he needed a 9 in the hand before. 2 folds.
All in.
3's all in.
510.
Looks down at Big Slick. He shoves 490,000. Josh Rikard,
1.665.
ace queen. He's dominated, but he jams it himself, and it's gonna fold the block. And he's got pocket jacks. 2 players all in front of him. He's got to figure this out. Do either of them have pocket aces, kings, and queens and have them crushed? Are they sharing cards like they are? If he knew that, he'd get it in there as quick as could be. It's just an interesting spot. It's one thing to call a short stack shove with pocket jacks. It's another thing to shove with them yourself, and then of course another thing to call off for your tournament life into 2 players who have already showed a great deal of aggression. I wouldn't blame Black if he calls. I wouldn't blame him if he folds, and hopes that Rikard eliminates Big Al and he can move up the money ladder. And he is going to give it up. And he's going to get to see the cards, and
I'll hit a queen.
and you hear him say, "Please, one of you hit." He wants to feel justified in the fold. Rikard calling for a queen of spades on the river. Nothing on the flop for Rikard. Nothing on the turn. He needs to hit a queen. There's only 2 of them left in the deck. Otherwise, Big Al's going to ship it. A double up, and that's what he does. That knocks Rikard down. He's the second shortest stack. Kurt Bales, 5 big blinds. He's in the danger zone.
Some players shove like 10.5 K.
And the blinds are coming around to him. He's going to look down at an 8 deuce. This actually the blinds are on him. He's the big blind. He's got 8 deuce. I'm not going to end up playing this hand. That's assuming somebody does something in front of him. Nobody here with a too great of a hand. And here comes Cutler with the button raise. Myers suited 2 gappers. Lowly suited 2 gappers. Thinking about it here. Lets it go. Bales gonna let it go as well. And the button raise gonna get it done. Rikard under the gun, ace-3 suited. Puts in a raise. Cutler just going to call with the pocket eights. We're going to go heads up to a flop.
Oh, that one. Oh. No,
And what a flop it is for Rikard. Doesn't hit it directly, but he picks up both a wheel draw and the nut flush draw. Only one over to Cutler's pocket eights. Looks like he's going to keep Rikard honest here. Essentially a coin flip at this point, the way the cards lie. Rikard pairs his 3. First to act. He's got a pair, he's got a wheel draw, he's got a flush draw, and he's got less than a pot size bet behind. I think we're going to see him jam it here. He knows if he gets called, he's at least drawn to the nuts. He does pull the trigger. Now, leading up to the final table, there was a similar spot for Cutler. He took his time, decided the story didn't add up, and made a good call to eliminate a player. You can see the wheels turning in his head, trying to figure this out. He is a 68% favorite, 2-1 favorite, but Rikard 11 outs on the river if he does get called.
Sorry, I tried to knock him out there.
I told him we would come see him in New York when we're there for the conference tonight. We'd come to collect some money or something. You'd have to take us to a show.
Rikard, MSPT Season 4 Ho Chunk champion. He's also a 7-time World Series of Poker circuit ring winner. When it comes to players from Wisconsin, I can tell you, being from there, they don't get much better than Josh Rikard. It's moves like this that make him so tough to play against. Yeah, you can tell Cutler suspected something there, but he didn't want to pay the price. Rikard shows him. You would have got there, says Cutler. 11 outs, he very well could have.
I was going to shove or fire 250 and beat me to the punch. And I'm like, you know I'm capable of holding it, is why you made that bet.
Good work for my hand.
I thought you were giving me a false count. Purposely looking for it. Yeah,
Oh, you did the triple reverse on
I wasn't worried. I was going to make the nuts on the river.
Yeah, right.
I knew
What
that
are you
already.
worried
I
about?
wasn't too worried.
He wanted to call. What are you talking about? He's begging for it. He was begging you to call.
On the 4.
Block, mixing things up here. Jack Deuce suited, early position. He's going to throw in, what is that, 15% of a stack with a raise to 125. Cutler with another pocket pair. Going to call from the hijack, heads up to this flop. Nothing there for either player. But I can tell you, if you're going to play Jack Deuce from early position for a raise, you better be prepared to take a stab or two at the pot. Otherwise, what's the point? Block, MSPT Golden Gates regional runner-up. He's going to check it. Cutler checks behind. Good card for Cutler. Not many cards that could hit that board under his 6s. A 3 is one of them. So if it checks to him again, he's going to assume he's good, but he checks behind. He's going to try to get to the showdown cheap. But block. Pairs up on the river. At this point, I expect he's just going to check it, be happy to take it down. And now he's got to show the jack deuce to the table. Cutler's right. A bet there on the turn, even a small one, 125,000, would have taken it down. Instead, block hits the only over he had. 6 minutes, 50 seconds left in level 27. Lines are going to go up then, 30,000, 60,000, and at that point the antes double, which if you've ever watched one of these broadcasts, you know when the antes double, we tend to lose a player or two. The action really heats up. There's more in the pot every hand. Stacks get whittled away just a little bit more. And while that might not make a huge difference to Myers, who has the chip lead, or some of these other bigger stacks, it's going to have a huge difference for Kurt Bales, who has just 200,000 in chips.
But I haven't looked at my hand. I will tell you that. We have.
Everywhere you go, you have to carry your best. No, but literally, it can never not be on your hand. 6 bets. Think about it. It's a good prospect. And the bag my fault. My check is 6 bets 6. It's got to be at least 5 bets. You have to like wrap your hand. No, the bag goes with like like even when you sleep. You have to have the bag. No, but you have to be with you everywhere you go. Okay.
6 check.
No, but even in the house, you go downstairs, it has to be part of your hand. That's the question. How much money would you need? Okay. Carter, how much would you need? 1 year.
A year?
1 year.
No, it's got to be about.
That's what do you think, Aaron?
25,000. It has to be the prop bet. 10,000.
I do it.
5 bets 180.
I do it for one guy did the rest of
How much?
100,000.
20,000? Carter would do it for 20,000. We might. Eddie?
I think you should just take
I don't know if I would do it for 24 hours for 250.
Exactly.
So it's either
That'd be hard.
Right.
Right. You know, you try to take it in the tour.
I don't do it right now, so it'll be pretty easy for me.
Yeah.
maybe a 9.
It would be that's why I said, Joey, I wish I had that much money because, you know, you have $1 billion. Okay, I'll give you
Just to
300,000.
humiliate him for a year.
Were we trapping?
Yeah, like my
Yes.
psychologist is like,
That's what I thought.
not normal.
I knew it was either a big hand or we were chopping.
Good luck, guys.
Yes, I just
Had you
let.
beat before the river, though.
You had me beat before the river?
I think so.
Do you have a king? Note to self. Don't let Josh bitch slap me anymore.
Go through some of these players. Seat 1, Carter Myers, current chip leader.
About to happen. We're sitting so close to the humiliating.
He's got a amazing girlfriend, Alicia,
Won't happen again.
and his daughter, Piper. Wanted me to give a shout out to them. No doubt watching as he attempts to win the 2017 Iowa State Poker Championship. Seat 2, Kurt Bales out of Cedar Falls, Iowa.
Just start whispering
He is into sales. Plays poker once in a while. No MSPT cashes. This is going to be his first. He is the short stack and in the danger zone. Big Al Heaton there in seat 3 from Keystone, Colorado. He is a professional poker pro. Tours around the country. Direct bought into this tournament. He plays every weekend. He's even played in France on the B-Win Poker Tour. Big Al actually listed on his bio sheet he's got a bachelor's degree in meteorology, a master's degree in military history, and he used to have his own World War II track bow vehicle, an M29 Weasel. I don't know what that is exactly, but I think I'm going to Google it because it sounds pretty cool.
Queen of Spades didn't come.
I know, that was pretty disappointing. I thought for sure it was coming when you said that.
Oh my
At there in seat 4,
How do you tell this guy what he's going to get?
Josh Rikard, the only MSPT champ remaining. He won the MSPT Season 4 Ho Chunk final table. I was actually at that final table. Josh began it as the chip leader. I began it second in chips. We never butted heads throughout the entire tournament. It was, I like to think it was one of those where he knew I was a good player, I knew he was a good player, so kind of just stayed out of each other's way, but I ended up busting in 5th place after my ace-king lost to ace-10 of Rob Wazwaz, and Josh went on to win the whole thing. Now he's going for MSPT title number 2, which would complement his 7 World Series of Poker circuit gold rings. But unlike me, he does not have a World Series of Poker bracelet. Sorry, Josh. Seat 6, Josh Smith out of Bettendorf, Iowa. Stay-at-home dad won his way into this event for $250, and he's guaranteed $15,348. He's got a good stack, primed to make more than that.
Oh, they all saw it. They all saw it.
No doubt going to be a happy family.
For a year. So that ain't got
Seat
nothing.
7,
I'll do it for
Keith
free.
Block out of Pomona, New York.
I'll put some kid stuff in there.
He's a poker player by trade.
Yeah, right.
Used to play
Could
online,
be like, you're not allowed in your
mainly
school.
cash games. He sprinkles in a tournament from time or two, and obviously it's been worthwhile. He finished runner-up in the MSPT Golden Gates Regional earlier this year for $66,000, and here he is again making another deep run. And there in the yellow hoodie, seat 7, Alan Cutler out of Northbrook, Illinois. He final tabled a World Series of Poker 2K event back in 2008 for $223,000. He's a recreational player mainly around the Chicago area, plays $1,500 buy-in tournaments, has 1 World Series of Poker circuit ring, $640,000 in cashes on Hendon Mob, so certainly an experienced player and has quite a bit of support, as a lot of the Chicago contingent made the drive over to Meskwaki Casino. They were rooting him on his journey down to the final table. This is hand number 37 of the final table. We've lost 2 players. Remember, this final table started out with 9 players because of a double elimination on the final table bubble. Leaving in 9th place was Nick Manganaro out of Omaha. Finished in 9th for $10,743. And following him out the door in 8th place was Jason Ramos out of the Chicagoland area. Ramos had won the MSPT 100, our 100th ever main event back in March here at Meskwaki Casino. He was looking to go back-to-back, but his quest came up short. Finished in 8th place for $12,710. So Bales is going to get his short stack in with the best of it. He's got Smith crushed. King Queen to Queen 6.
These guys, Jack Deuce,
Well, he
Queen
must have
6.
written this right hand.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I thought it was ace queen.
You just peel the side of the queen or the 6, it kind of looks like a queen, you know, if you don't go any further.
Yeah.
It does.
Good flop for Bales. Still the best hand. Picks up a gut shot straight draw. Now Smith just drawn to a 6, and there's only one of them left in the deck. That's not it. It's close, but Bales going to double up to 450,000.
No take all that. It's evening out the stakes.
And you can see there it came just in time as the blinds have went up. Level 28, 30,000, 60,000 with a 10,000 ante. Bales still in the danger zone, under 10 big blinds. But he won that out of the big blind, so now he's going to pay the small, and he'll have a whole round and whole orbit to try to look down at something better.
You need one more for that.
Five raises. 130.
Rikard under the gun, pocket 4s, makes it 130,000. Josh Smith, pocket deuces, he's going to set mine. He calls one spot over.
One folds. Folds.
And Big Al says, sure, I'm going to come along. 70,000, getting 6-1 on my money on a call. 10-9, let's do it. Three-way action to the flop. Ooh, and there's a 4 for Rikard. He has bottom set. Big Al flops middle pair. Checks it over to Rikard. $490 in the pot. Looks like he's going to come out for under 200,000. 185. Smith doesn't connect, doesn't find a deuce. He's going to ditch it. We'll have to see what Big Al wants to do with middle pair. Big Al's going to let it go. 185,000, just too much out of his 830,000 stack unless he wants to commit. Good thing he didn't. If he watches this stream back, he's going to realize it was a good laydown.
I said I was not folding.
See there, the chip counts have been correct. Now, these are unofficial chip counts. Things do get mixed up from time to time with the action tracker, but there will be a break at the end of this level. We'll get exact chip counts.
Anything, yeah, call.
But for the most part, they're fairly accurate. And you can see from those chip counts that were just up on the screen, Kurt Bales was actually up to 560,000 instead of the 450,000 I previously said.
Three of a kind.
Kinda assume that. So say that. I thought it was 2 queen of spades. But that sounds terrible too. I better stick with the ace queen. It might get ugly.
6 folds. 7 folds.
Wasn't enough to fold.
8 folds. 1 folds.
2 folds, 3 folds. Negative. Negative.
2 raises. 120. Three folds.
Kurt Bales raises 120,000 from the button. He's the short stack. Rikard, he's got some suited connectors. He's already invested. Only 60K more to him. He's going to take a flop, and I like it. 5-4, usually pretty easy to play. For instance, flops an open-ender. Bales. That's about half his remaining stack with top pair, top kicker. I imagine Rikard's going to set him in here. He's got the open-ended straight draw, backdoor heart draw. And Kurt Bell's is going to call off here.
Some more chances here.
As Riker says, he's picked up some more outs. He's got 10 outs headed to the river. That's not one of them. So Kurt Bales, who was just the extreme short stack, hits a couple of double ups. He's back up to 1.2 million. You hear Cutler say that this table could run the duration, meaning it could go late, and it surely could. The stacks are pretty evened out. Aside from Myers, he's still the big chip leader. Everyone else right in the same neck of the woods. We will play down to a winner tonight, no matter how long it might take, and I'll be here every step of the way.
What?
$115,109 up top to the winner. No chops allowed on the MSPT main event live streams. They're going to play it out for some big money. These guys have already been playing for about 10 hours today. They came back at 11 a.m. 96 players out of the 496 player field came back. 45 spots were paid. So a little more than half the field left empty-handed. Some of those players who came and fell short: Howard Hankin, Dan DQ Hendrickson, Aaron Johnson,
Obviously.
Alan Cardy, Adam Lamphere, former champs Ken Kumbarek, Ken Pates.
Obviously, I was a lot less likely to get
8 raises.
than you were. I think there was still a chance.
Farmer Phil Mater out of Nebraska, Joe Bernard, Jason Bender. They gave it their all, but came up short. Couldn't finish in the top 45. Cutler here, Cutler with the big slick, and Smith with the pocket sevens in the big blind. Rikard in between with the queen 10 suited. And it looks like he's going to get frisky with it.
5 raises.
And those chips are likely going to disappear. Because if Smith doesn't do something with the sevens, Cutler's not going to fold that ace-king. Smith lets the pocket sevens go. Back on Cutler, is going to ask for a count.
Total.
He ships it, and Rikard releases.
You won.
He's going to show him the ace king.
Oh, I almost forgot. I should have done it.
I wish you would have.
I need to see all 5 cards with you.
I should have.
Yeah, because
Ah.
I flat it, miss, you bet, I fold, easy money for you.
It would have been, yeah. I prefer that
I read
option.
in Card Player magazine against a superior opponent. Get it all in and don't make any decisions after the flop. That ace king, nobody would blame you to final table for shut.
I was a small blind.
So I pulled.
Cutler exactly right there. Nobody's going to blame him for shoving ace king in that spot.
The ace king like aces, it's automatically shut.
That's what you just did.
Wait.
What do you mean?
Because it's a final table.
You're not a young person.
So at a final
'Cause it's a-
table when it's important, that's where it's good.
Well, because at this stage you need to bust the player to, you know what I mean? At other stages of the tournament, you don't need to risk your whole stack early.
One raises. 120.
I don't have to choose for you, you're here, so you know what you're doing.
3 folds.
Senior citizens
That's
have a different
boxes.
strategy than the young. But they're more successful than the old timers.
Calling.
Five's on. 6 folds, 7 folds, 1 fold.
Myers raises.
When I started
Going to fold to Rikard's 3-bet jam with ace queen.
aces and kings today, 3, 4, 5 bets, range is so huge.
Queen 6 suited. Jack 2 suited. 9-3 off.
I only had one of those. So you had the other.
No, he had the jack.
In fairness, I only had one of those hands. You had one too. Mine didn't come in as well as yours did, obviously.
3-3 jack is a good flop.
I'm gonna have to.
It wasn't suited either, so stop calling it 9-3 suited.
I didn't. Jack 2 suited. I said. I didn't say. I said 9-3 off.
I'm putting an ancient Chinese, an ancient Persian.
Rikard and Josh Smith talking about a big hand that happened at the final 2 tables.
I need one of those.
Rikard won a monster $750,000 pot with 9-3 offsuit.
Been looking for one of those for a while.
2 folds.
And those 2 players, the ones with the hands. Here, Rikard, cutoff, ace-10, going to raise it. Smith going to look down at the ladies on the button.
6 is on.
And there's the shove.
7 folds.
It's a close one.
No, they lasted.
Rikard says it's a close one, but there's no way he calls for
It only works on
I'm not
The majority
talking to
of his
Josh. I'm
stack.
trying to figure out what I have.
with ace-10.
Talking to Josh.
I feel like
And there they go.
Not
you might as well
dominated.
show. I'll know.
Dominated. You can pick one. No,
you get to pick
the
the
same
other
one.
Pretty sure I did.
Good fold.
Had a good ace. Could not beat ace queen.
So seeing that hand helped you both ways.
I don't think you had queen.
Either way, you were running for the same amount out.
King queen suited. Was ahead.
Is what you had?
I was ahead of that.
Oh, you were ahead of that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, could have. That's in the range. You're right.
2 folds. 3 folds. 5 folds. Six raises. 160. 7 folds.
Smith from the cutoff. Queen-Jack makes it 160 to go. Cutler with a suited ace in the small blind. Behind him, Myers, the big stack with a king 10 of diamonds. Expect Cutler's going to release. I think Myers actually might take a flop, though. He's got the chips to do it. I'm right on one account, at least. Indeed, Myers going to take a flop. So heads up between Myers and Josh Smith. Smith flops top pair. Not much for Myers aside from backdoor diamond and straight draws. Continuation bet ought to do it unless Myers pushes back with a check raise. Don't really see him calling in this spot. Just throwing in money trying to hit a turn card. That improves your hand. If he does call, I imagine it will would be with the intention of floating to bluff at a later street. If he thinks better of it, lets it go. And Myers drops to under $3 million after that hand. Still the chip leader. Next closest to him is Smith, who just jumped up to $1.66 million. Cutler also sitting with about $1.6 million. There you can see the chip counts. Nobody in too much danger. Big Al is the short stack, but still above 10 bigs. And it's on to hand number 44 of this, the 2017 Iowa State Poker Championship at Meskwaki Casino, the largest ever major poker tournament held in Iowa. 496 runners. Big Al, the short stack, under the gun's going to ship pocket tens. And block, he's going to look down at ace-jack suited in the cutoff. It's a pretty hand, but it's essentially calling off his stack. They have similar stacks there. He thinks better of it, lets it go. Now it's on Carter Myers. He's the chip leader with a king-jack suited. He says no thank you, and Kurt Bales is going to ditch it in the big blind. So Big Al, he's going to get it done with the pre-flop shove. Just under 20 minutes left in level 28. These players will then go on their first 10-minute break of the day.
This is getting things got uncomfortable.
M-Man Poker on Twitch says he wants to see Carter Myers and Josh Rikard heads up. They're certainly two of the more experienced players at this final table. Cutler open pocket kings from the cutoff, 150,000. Myers ace jack uses the big stack and position to his advantage with a 3-bet. Ace Jack, little does he know, Cutler has a monster, and
It's over.
yeah, he shows that the dealer's cutting out the raise.
Show the bluff.
We don't know what it's going to be, but whatever the case, Myers snap folds.
If he didn't have the button, I would have flatted him, but you know what? I'm out of position against the biggest ace I can.
You guys are a maniac. Bluffer. Never have.
So now Cutler up to 2.1 million, closing in on Myers, who drops down to 2.5 million.
About your 4-bet range.
It says a lot. It's about this. It's this
Yeah,
thing.
it says everything about his 4-bet range is what you mean.
You got me, boss. That's perfect, because now that I have that table image, I could start
He
4-betting
just
light.
folded jacks, that's all. That quickly.
Now I could increase my 4-bet range to include queens.
Can't play from under the gun. All the way over there? The whole table behind you?
6 raises, 150,
Anytime
7
it's Josh's
folds,
big blind.
8 fold, 1 fold. $150. 2 calls. 3 folds, 5 folds.
It up from the button, 150,000, ace 10. Josh Smith opened it up, 150,000 under the gun. 9-7 suited. Bales defends. Only had 1 diamond on the flop for Smith. Bales picks up a gut shot to a jack.
Bet. 170. 2 calls.
Saw the continuation bet, but he can't shake Bales that easy. He's going to call, peel off another card. Not a big fan, to be honest. It's 170,000 out of your stack of 720 or 890. He had 890, now he's left with 720. Less than a pot-sized bet behind. See if Smith has another bullet in him. If he doesn't, he's just going to check it, give up. Bales happy to check behind. So he goes check on the river. Kurt Bales is going to win this. 5 pairs the board.
Yeah, of course I would.
6 check.
And that's going to be what happens. Bales is going to be thrilled to win this pot with an ace high. Well, actually, I spoke too soon. He thinks he might need to bluff at it to win it. Same result. Bale's going to win, except for this time he doesn't have to show it.
Dealer change.
Alright, see you in a bit, fellas.
Fresh deck. Oh, do they just have 1 deck only? Oh my god.
I'll say you have to have more than 1. What if something goes bad?
No, I'm just so you
Got enough decks here, but these are special RFID table cards, so they don't get switched out every dealer change.
record breaker tonight, I'm predicting. This is gonna be a record breaker final table.
I pray that Cutler's wrong on that account, because the record, as far as I know, for longest MSPT final table was last season. MSPT Ho Chunk Wisconsin State Poker Championship. Andy Rubenberg and Ku Vang battled heads up for 4 or 5 hours. It lasted till 4 or 5 in the morning. It was just a crazy marathon of a match.
One raises to 120. 2 calls, 3 folds, 5 folds.
How much is it? 120.
120.
It's on 6.
2 calls, 3 5
calls,
folds.
3 folds, 5 folds.
You ready now? And then 6 calls.
6 calls.
MSPT Eric out running the action tracker for this final table. And actually, we have the live blog going for this event. Brandon Temple out of Madison, Wisconsin joined us as a live reporter for the Iowa State Poker Championship for a little extra coverage. He's done a great job, so you can follow live updates on msptpoker.com. Just look for the neon green button that says live updates, and it's there that you can check out the results, chip counts. You can go back through days 1A, 1B, and read a little bit about how these guys got here. It's msptpoker.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at msptpoker, there at the bottom of your screen. Also follow Meskwaki Casino at Meskwaki Casino, and our MSPT Season 8 Player of the Year sponsor, Kimosabi Mezcal. Give them a follow as well. So Myers and Kurt Bales in this pot. Both of them flop flush draws. Myers has the best of it. King high flush draw with an open ender. And he shoves it. Bales has a straight draw of his own. A 5 would give him a 7 high straight. So pre-flop it was Myers who raised to 120,000. Bales defended from the cutoff. He's going to release.
I have a feeling that's true. Still had a river to come, though.
7 players remain. Next player out is going to walk away with $15,348.
Carter Hayes, you're right.
The winner of this tournament is going to get almost $100,000 more than that. $115,109. So these players are playing for a lot of money.
Up in the woods where the bearded men.
And if you think that there's going to be a 7-way chop coming, think again, because chops are not allowed in MSPT main events. They are allowed in our regional events. Saw a small heads-up deal last weekend at the MSPT Potawatomi. 2 players agreed to chop $60,000 apiece and leave $10,240 in the trophy to play for. They played 1 hand of heads-up play. It was Matthew Vignali who walked away with that title. He'll be on the cover of MSPT Magazine, our August issue, which is actually available now for free in its full entirety online at msptpoker.com. On the far right-hand side, you will see a tab that says Magazine. Click on that, and you can peruse all our past issues of MSPT Magazine absolutely free.
Howard Google it.
The winner of this event will find themselves in the September issue.
6 is all in.
And here we go. We got some action. Rikard shoves with pocket 3s. Josh Smith, he has pocket queens. It's the battle of the Joshes. Rikard, the last MSPT champ in the field, at risk. Looking at 2 outs right now. Picks up a runner-runner straight draw. Well, now he picks up some outs. He picks up 3 more outs. 2 outs to 5 outs. He's got a 15% chance of hitting it. Needs a 5 or a 3. And he does not get it. They're going to count down these stacks, and if our chip counts are right, Rikard is going to be our 7th place finisher.
Because my wife came up. That's why I keep getting queens, because my wife came up.
Table on your resume. You play like a champion, boss.
Josh Rikard out of Janesville, Wisconsin, the man who was supposed to join me in the commentator booth tonight, couldn't because he made a run at the final table. He's going to finish in 7th place for $15,348. And with that, there are no former MSPT champs remaining, which means a new champ will be crowned here in the Iowa State Poker Championship. And there are the updated chip counts. Smith, 2.2 million, closes in on Myers.
Easily played. Easily played.
6.
I was the small one.
Button
I
on
was.
7. 5 was
I'm the
7.
button now. I should be the button now.
Okay, 6 is the button. Alright, 36.
What are you doing, bro?
You're not blind.
We're 6. Carter Myers in the 1 seat. Kurt Bales out of Cedar Falls, Iowa in the 2 seat. Big Al, Keystone, Colorado, traveling poker pro in the 3 seat. Josh Smith in the 6 seat, just eliminated Josh Rikard. Keith Block, there in the gray t-shirt in the 7 seat. And in the 8 seat, Alan Cutler out of Northbrook, Illinois, well known in the Chicagoland poker scene.
Have you seen my cards yet, Eric, or you just know that the cards have been seen? I mean, I know it's been seen.
He reads them after a few seconds. The computer picks it up for him.
It just tells them that they've been seen, though. It doesn't tell them what they are.
Well, that
That's
doesn't
what he was asking.
I'm all in, gentlemen. 7 is all in.
No mas.
8 fold.
Gentlemen, don't ever press X like that.
Why not? Your name's Alan too, right? Your first name is Alan?
Are you associated with the FBI, CIA, NSA, or DIA?
Right? He's asking too many questions, isn't
Yeah,
he?
And he's
No,
an
isn't your
accountant.
name Alan?
And
My
he's
name's
an
Alan too.
Big L.
I'm a big Al.
All
My
right.
real nickname is Chicago Cut because I'm from Chicago. My last name's Cutler, like the quarterback.
You had one of those too? That makes me feel way better than.
What did he show?
Yeah, my
I live in the
really
road.
well.
I live in the road.
I showed Ace ours. I showed Ace it ours.
You don't have a home base?
Well, sort of, sure.
All the games have only had 3.
South side?
You hear there Big Al talking. He doesn't have a home. He just travels the circuit. Reminds me of MSPT Potawatomi champ Ari Angle, one of the best-known poker players in the world, 2016 Aussie Millions champ. That's all he does. He literally does not have a house or home. He just travels from stop to stop, and whatever game's around, trying to collect money. And doing a good job of it. So Kurt Bales under the gun, pocket aces. He's going to raise it up.
2 raises to 180.
I mean, this certainly hasn't been a limping table.
I used to work at
Lots of raises, lots of 3-bets. The occasional 4-bet. Smith once again looks on at pocket deuces and is going to set mine. Block has one of the deuces, lets it go. Cutler says no thanks to the suited connectors.
Oh, sure, I remember when he was a kid. Sure, make that noise like crazy.
Myers gets out of the way, so we're going to go heads up to this flop.
You can give extra.
Heads up. 2 checks. 6 checks.
There's the flop. Smith does not hit a deuce. Goes check, check. Gets a free pull at another one, but
2 checks.
Bale's just checking down his aces apparently. Doesn't like the texture of the board. And Smith almost gets there. Bale's now going to lead out.
2 bets, 200.
He might get paid off. Smith can't really put him on aces after checking the flop and checking the turn.
6 calls.
And he does. He's curious. Would he do it with an ace-king, ace-queen? So by checking the flop and the turn, Kurt Bales gets himself a little value on the river. And actually pulls ahead of Smith on the chip counts.
You can let out the north side, you know, say we wanted down his sister, we do the same thing with a guy on his sister roll. They just do the thing. Go back up the north, they have
Playing
one
like an
house that there
idiot.
and get some of Myron's, you know.
Big Al under the gun, Big Slick. He jams it in there. Carter Myers, he's going to make the call out of the small blind with pocket sevens. Kurt Bales, King Queen suited in the big blind. I don't think he's going to call here with a jam and a flatter, but it is certainly a pretty hand that gives you pause.
He's okay with it. He gave you the okay for me to get in. This sounds a little fishy to me.
And it took him some time, but indeed he does let it go. So we are off to the races. Actually, given the cards that have been folded, Myers 59% favorite to knock out Big Al. No ace, no king there. One diamond, backdoor Broadway draw. But that's not going to help him at all. Sixes pair, so now Big Al looking for one of 4 outs. 3 aces left in the deck. 1 king. That's not one of them. It's a 7. Myers improves to a full house.
But it still looked nice to get it.
And in the last hand of the level, Big Al Heaton, the day 1A chip leader, the traveling poker professional who direct bought into this tournament, is going to walk away
I agree. It's my big one.
in 6th place for $18,465. It's his second MSPT cash after he finished 172nd in the 2016 MSPT Venetian event. A nice run for Big Al. It looks like we're actually going to get one more hand in here before the 10-minute break.
Yeah, I was. Okay.
No, yeah.
Seven folds. 8 folds. One raises to 120. 2 folds.
You just don't want to go to break?
I do actually.
Yeah. I so want to play with you, but I just can't. You have aces?
And Myers is going to win the last hand of the level. We are on a 10-minute break.
Calling whatever I do, so.
Stay tuned, as action will continue in the 2017 MSPT Iowa State Poker Championship from Meskwaki Casino.
Alright, 10,080. Small blind, big blind is 4080.
What'd you guys do? Buy some pinks from me?
Yes, we did. We bought a bunch of them off.
And so what? 10,000 still?
10, and then you're 40 and 80 on the 7 suit. Eight raises to 180. 2 folds, 3 folds, 6 folds. Seven folds.
You go all in, I call.
Let's see.
Back to the 2017 Iowa State Poker Championship from Meskwaki Casino. 5 players remain in this record field, the largest major ever held in Iowa, 496 runners. Our biggest MSPT, Meskwaki, in 17 stops. They catch you up on the action thus far. Final table began with 9 players due to a double elimination on the final table bubble. And bowing out first was Omaha's Nick Manginaro, 9th place for almost $11,000. Following him out the door was Jason Ramos, who was looking to go back-to-back here in MSPT Meskwaki main events. He won the MSPT 100 back in March. He bowed out in 8th place for $12,710.
You should be. That your nice
We then
guy.
had Josh Rikard out of Janesville, Wisconsin. He was the last former MSPT main event champ remaining in the field. Exited in 7th place for $15,348. And Big Al Heaton out of Keystone, Colorado, right before the break fell in 6th place for $18,465. The remaining 5 players each guaranteed a minimum payday of $23,981. My name is Chad Holloway, commentating this final table by myself because the aforementioned Josh Rikard was originally supposed to be here with me as a co-commentator, but ended up making the final table, so he got the night off,
The good news is my name's Josh.
and now it's just you and me.
Go ahead and find
Watching these 5 guys battle it out for a top prize of $115,109. And we will get to a winner tonight, no matter how long it takes.
Yeah.
This is hand number 55 of the final table.
If I grew out the beard just like you, would be for sure looking just like him. Same race.
6 races.
195. Top there's 150, 175. I should just go even 200, you're right.
It's interesting to note that in the last year's
Uh-oh.
Iowa State Poker Championship,
See, messing it all up.
Brett Rikard finished 6th place for $16,785. Brett Rikard is the father of Josh Rikard, who just finished 7th in this year's Iowa State Poker Championship. So back-to-back final tables for the father-son combo.
Six bets 160.
I don't have the hole cards on this hand. Get that fixed here very shortly. In the meantime, we'll do it old school.
Tried to get me, didn't ya? Nice hand. I feel really good about that check. I had a bigger hand. When you see that, you'll be impressed. I thought it was Jack 9 actually. That came in too.
Alright, good luck, guys.
That 8 really hurt you more than the spade did.
I actually thought about leaving you.
Leading the river? I would have probably called. I did have a big enough hand to call. Depends on how much you lead, obviously, but yeah, then I probably would have called for sure. If you value bet it, I call. Too much in there not to. Nice hand, Carter.
It's 40, right?
Yeah, 40.
There we go. Cards back on. That was my error. Clicked the wrong button here in the booth.
200.
We're going to pick up the action here with Josh Smith under the gun, pocket sevens. And it's going to be a raise and take it.
For me, it's just more trying. Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, here it's more for me just trying to like figuring out the numbers of what's like 2.5 times or whatever. I just kind of throw something out there. You know what I mean? But yeah, I know. Ain't making nobody fold. Yeah.
I think you should bet
Or like someone raises, I
I
think
think
you
you
should
should
raise
raise
another guy will make it like
5 bigs, 400.
175.
5 bigs.
Raise 5 bigs.
I'll raise 5 bigs. I gotta
It's a
be
nice
the
even.
big right now, right? Exact right amount of money.
7's all in.
Block under the gun.
It's way better that I'm the only Josh here now. I said it's way better now that I'm the only Josh here.
Ships it. 865,000 with ace 10 suited. And it looks like it's going to get through.
Should we try it together? Yeah. Okay. Oh, you know what that means.
means a bunch of
You
times.
know what that means. Yeah. That ain't no good. It was suited,
A
but
little suited
I
queen.
raised that last time.
5 you fold suited queen 5
He didn't want me to call with it. He's afraid I'll win, right?
I like
no,
that.
why not? Well, you know I'm either gonna, make it fun for TV. Like, who cares?
How big that blue one is right
Like 100 people? Maybe?
6 people. But
You think so? Do I have Eric, how many views? You can tell us how many people are watching, can't you?
I know about it.
Does Howard ever count? Did you see her on her phone?
8 folds.
Which is the better view and experience, I think.
Two raises to 160.
That's 315 on one side. Depends on the rate.
6 folds.
Depends on the rate.
Yeah, but we're not 15 minutes in yet. It won't start back up till 25.
Myers from the cutoff raises ace deuce suited. Block in the big blind. King jack off. I realize what I just said.
7 calls.
He's going to call it. He's going to take a flop with the 2 paint cards.
7 checks.
Not much there for either player. Goes check, check. Myers pairs his deuce. He's in position. If block checks it to him, he's got to figure he's good. Block, thinking about it. Looks like he's going to take a stab at it. Less than half pot. Myers, who slid over to the 2 spot here so you can see him a little bit better, he's going to call. And the 3 of spades on the river does put 3 spades out there. See if block can bluff at it again. Because if it goes check, check, the pot's going to get pushed to Myers. Oh, and he is. He's going to jam it. And he gets Myers off the best hand. Kudos to block. Knows he can't win it unless he makes a move. Fortunately for him, Myers only had bottom pair, and he's going to take it down. Climbs up to 1.4 million.
Two raises to 160. Three calls, 6 folds. Seven folds. Check. He checks. Two bets. 225.
Myers flops top pair. Bets the flop, 225. Cutler with a gut shot to a 10. Looks like he's thinking about it. And he's going to put in the chips to make the call and take another card. See if he can hit it. He doesn't. 7 pairs. Bit of a scary card for Myers. He is going to check it behind. It could very well be
He checks.
that Cutler holds a 7. Now by checking the river, Myers knows that's not the case. He's got to go for some value, hoping his opponent has perhaps an 8 with an inferior kicker.
Oh, I tried.
375.
I tried, but I missed. I surrender. Jack, I do it. Dealer. Come on. Where's the tender ball? Can't win. We don't look at a couple of clusters. Just what we want. Just let the rich get richer. Feed that stack.
Not we. No. He's really wrong. I promise you that. You might think that, but he's really wrong.
What?
That's not what we want. He said you're right. That's what we want is his chip to get
I
bigger.
was being sketchy.
I know. And I'm telling you, right,
sarcasm.
he's wrong. I know what it is, but I'm telling you,
It's
he's
a rich
wrong.
get rich. It's a game of position, isn't it?
It is.
I wasn't gonna play out of this. I ate a piece of the clock. They priced me.
Kurt Bales, Jack 10 under the gun.
3 raises to 180. 6 folds.
Raises it up.
7 folds.
Gonna fold around to Myers in the big blind. 4-5. 100,000 more to him to see a flop, and that's what he's gonna do.
Check. 3 checks.
Both players flop gut shots. Goes check, check. Myers looking for a 3 for a wheel. Bales for a queen to make Broadway. Well, Bales picks up a diamond draw, the only player with the diamond. Myers, though, is the one who's going to bet it.
200.
But it's not going to be enough to shake Bales. Comes the river card. Another diamond. It does give Bales a flush, and Myers checks it to him. He's waving the white flag. Bales deciding whether or not he wants to go for some value. Is it possible Myers would have checked the ace or the queen of diamonds from the big blind? Probably not. So he's going to put together some chips. Looks about 300,000, and that does it.
Do you have a diamond? What's your first name?
Mine, it's Al. Big Al.
You're Big Al?
Yeah.
The other guy was Big Al.
You look like a big guy. We got his name wrong.
What is it really, Joey?
Do I look like a Joey from New Jersey?
What's your first name?
You look like a big owl. You really do. Does he not look like a
Kurt.
big owl?
Kurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he said his name was Big Al, I would not be shocked. I could be like, oh, and he takes bets, I'm sure of it.
Six fold.
This is hand number 61 of this final table. Cutler, who looks like he's going to raise the button with an ace-6 offsuit, expected this to be a late one.
Eight raises. 180.
It's actually fairly early, 10:15 here in Central Time. 5 players remaining, but they're plenty deep, plenty of play left. And Cutler with the raise. Myers not going away easy. Here comes the 3-bet.
3 raises. 420. 3 fold.
I know when my ace is out, kick you. I surrender.
8 folds.
Myers putting that big stack to good use. Starting to open up another lead up to 4.5 million. The next closest is Kurt Bales with 1.6
Can I
million.
get a seat change button?
And there you see it.
They don't read. You don't pay drugs. Like,
He questioned it. He thought for sure we were redrawing 300. Heads up, we redraw yet. That's a good strategy. If I get heads up, I just want to do it just so I can see Carter push his ships this way. I gotta go over there with my small stack. He is fine with that, I'm sure. That doesn't mean I'm not gonna get him. I just want to see him push him over here.
7 fold.
$180 in case I
8 raises. 180. Pick your cards. This time here, I can just see what's going on. 2 folds.
Sorry. So you're from Michigan. So if you're from mainland Michigan, you live like Marquette or somewhere, like how was one, is there a
So Cutler raises it with King-Queen offsuit. Kurt Bales, small blind, 10-6 suited. He says, I want to see a flop. And Josh Smith, piddly 4-deuce off, ditches it in the big blind. We're going to be heads up to the flop.
I know it's not even Ontario.
3 checks.
And Bales flops top pair, checks it over to Cutler. It looks like he's coming with a continuation bet. He misses, but any paint card would give him the lead. He picks up a gut shot to a jack
220.
to go with his 2 overs. Looks like Bales is going to proceed with caution, just makes the call. Blank on the turn. Cutler reaches for chips immediately. He doesn't have a whole lot to work with. He's got about a pot-sized bet behind.
360.
And he's going to commit more than a third of it. Putting the pressure on Bales, who does have top pair. Bales shows him the 10 and lays it down.
Never complain about winning the small ones uncontested. It was a good fold.
Cutler tells him a little lie, saying it was a good fold. Cutler actually needed to improve on the river.
You'll find out in 30 minutes if I'm full of shit or not. I might have just had Jack beat his legs too.
It was a good bet. Either way, right?
I don't know how you get the feed. There's who's going. You can't use your phone. So even if my kids tried to, even if they tried to text me, how are you going to find out? No mas.
Cutler lets it go. Myers, king 8 suited.
160.
He's got the chips to splash around. He's going to raise it up 160.
Three calls.
Bales, pocket 7s this time in position. Just going to flat him. Block. Jack 9. He's getting a good price to make the call, and that's what he's going to do. The min raise from Myers. So three-way action to the flop. And boom!
Seven check.
Block flops top 2 pair. Coily checks it over to Myers. Looks like he's going to continuation bet. Block just licking his chops right now. That's going to get Bales off the hand. Block going to double check his cards. Some people would say that's a big tell. Double checking of the cards. See how he wants to play it. He's either going to flat it and then check the turn, give him Myers a little bit a rope to hang himself maybe, or he might just be content to take it down now with a raise or shove. Looks like it's going to be the latter. He's going to raise.
Yeah, I didn't want to get on top of this.
What was that wire blocking your eyes?
I didn't want to, like, I went over this way.
There you go.
Cutler messing with our table mic.
Who knew, Keith, you had it in you?
It's on to hand number 64 of this final table. 2017 Iowa State Poker Championship here at Meskwaki Casino. The largest ever major poker tournament. By major poker tournament, I mean $1,000 plus buy-in. This is the largest. It's never been bigger in the state of Iowa. 496 entrants. Beat our old record of 466 from back in March. So Myers raised it to 160,000, ace 5 off. Smith with the suited ace deuce on the button. He's the short stack. Eyeing up the blinds to see if they look interested in playing. He's considering a shove here. Just wants to peer to his left, see if he can sense any strength. Oh, I'm sorry, I totally botched that. Scratch that. Smith just flatted on the button. He was looking to his left to see what Block was going to do, and now Block comes in with a 3-bet. Chimichanga indeed, Cutler. Gets rid of it, back on Myers. He's going to release, and now Smith lets it go too. Nice 3-bet by Block to pick up that pot.
I'll tell you a secret. The 5 guys sitting here, 490 players, no dead money in this game. Sure? Yeah. All the dead money's long gone.
Folds around to Cutler in the small blind, looks out down at 2 paint cards. And he's just going to limp. It is something different. We haven't seen a lot of limping at this final table. It's been tough to see a flop. There's been raises, 3-bets, 4-bets, but got a limp and a check. Heads up to this flop. Both players pair, but they go check, check again. Chocolates referring to those brown $25,000 chips.
I have a
Check, check on the river.
Might as well be the mortal nuts, because there's no way you have an ace. You see how nice I could be? Soft play, take it easy on that big stack of yours. These young kids and their hyper-aggression modes all the time. It's not healthy. Sometimes you gotta relax.
It's all the youngins. There should have been a half a dozen of them in here, right?
Half a dozen what?
Half a dozen youngins on this table.
Maybe I am a young.
How old are you?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm 23.
You gotta tell people like you're like 83.
I play
and
poker
everybody's
24 hours
"Oh
a
my
day,
God."
that's why.
Where's your hometown? Where are you from?
Cedar Falls, Iowa.
Oh, a local boy.
Yeah, we're trying the local boys, trying to keep it here.
Well, mixed. We got Minnesota, Illinois, Iowa, New York. Oh, yeah, okay. Michigan's even better. I'm a big NR.
Oh, yeah. I heard they closed it there.
Josh, where are you from? Oh, you're an Iowa boy. All right, so
Kurt Bales, Josh Smith, both from Iowa, looking to keep the Iowa State Poker Championship title here on home turf. The other 3 looking to take it across state lines. Last year it was Milwaukee's John Sun who took the title down, took it back to Wisconsin. Son was in attendance trying to defend that title, but busted on day 1A with, I think, 2 or 3 hands left in the night, then made it to the last level on day 1B, just couldn't find a bag.
I have to wait a few more, I'll get it again, right?
Yeah,
Once around every time.
yeah. Shorts back, ninja time.
In 7 minutes.
Kind of see it wearing on these players' faces. They've been playing since 11 a.m. today, almost 12 hours.
Really?
Pretty much nonstop. They get a 10-minute break after every 3 levels, and right before the final table they had a short dinner break, but other than that they've just been on the grind. Started with 96 players today, 45 of which got paid. We're down to the final 5. Each of these players guaranteed $23,981, but $115,000 up top.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they had the whole squad. I'm sure, whatever it was. I'm sure.
180.
Cutler makes it a 180 with ace-6 from the cutoff. Kurt Bales from the small blind going to see a flop with queen 10. Short stack Smith and the big blind decides putting in a little less than 20% of his stack to see a flop is worth it. Might see a little stop and go action if he can flop just right. And that's not very good. He did make bottom pair, but 2 overs out there, both of which connected with Bales. He's got top 2 right now. Bales coyly checked it on the flop, checked around. Now he's going to lead the turn, and it looks like he's going to take it down.
You know, the funny thing is I know your exact hand.
What?
I know
Exact
your
hand.
exact hand.
All right, tell me.
Want me to tell you?
Something tells me he's not going to be right.
You have 1 pair with
I
a
must
draw.
be misunderstood at
Absolutely
what the
wrong.
word
Like a, I don't
exact
know.
is.
100% wrong. You can watch that on TV next week.
You have a 9 or a jack in your hand.
I did not.
He said he
Kurt Bales telling him the truth.
See you in a bit, folks.
You're not playing the John Hess. You know, work final table or sure you have fun.
probably.
Might not have it fun.
Shout out to the dealers here at the MSPT Meskwaki. Been doing a fine job not only through this main event, but in the satellites leading up to it. We've actually started something new on the MSPT. For years we've been taking pictures of players on day 1A and 1B and putting them on Facebook for free. Players can go, find their photo, tag it, print it off, make it their profile pic, whatever they want to do with it, it's theirs for the taking. But we decided to start doing the same thing for dealers. While they're dealing in action, we do a round of photos, started our own gallery, dealer gallery, so these dealers can go on Facebook and check out some action shots of them slinging cards.
Be under the gun.
Action folds to Bales on the button. He's got a queen 4 suited. Looks like he's going to raise it. He's got the short stacked Smith in the small blind and block behind him. Smith is going to shove it. He's decided, hey, maybe it's a button steal. King 7 suited plays pretty good against it. Here's the curious spot for Bales. He's committed $160,000. It's only $325,000 more. He's getting better than 2-1 on his money. 2.2, 2.25, something like that on his money. So unless he thinks he's a 2.25 underdog in this hand,
290 something.
he probably should call. And as you can see, the percentage is there. He's a 3-2 underdog. But he's going to release. I think myself, I would have called in that spot. Provided I raised the button, I might have not raised it all. But if you're going to raise the button there, you kind of have to assume there's a good chance the short stack is going to play back at you. So you better be prepared for that and be prepared to call.
So it's hard for him to call. Has to call him.
Smith on the button. He raises it up. Suited connectors. Cutler. Suited ace-5. He's not folding. He pulled his chips back. It usually indicates a raise, and indeed it was. And that's going to get the job done.
Ah, it was good.
I thought you were stealing, so. He told me that my 3
So Smith in the danger zone, and it's only going to get worse. The blind's going up in less than a minute. 40, 80,000, 100,000 right now. It's going to go up to 50 and 100,000. And his 7 big blind stack is going to shrink a little bit more.
I honestly thought my ace was good. Oh, you lied to me.
You'll see it later.
I might not watch it for a month.
I'm calling you with any ace, I promise that.
Oh, so you lied about ace 10. That's so rude.
I told you the truth later when you told me or showed me your hand. I'm
That's
all
okay.
in.
I'm happy.
6 is all in.
And here Smith goes, looks down at Queen 9 suited, says this is good enough for me. And it could get through.
No Carter up, double up.
Indeed it does. With that buzzer, the blinds are going to go up.
Oh my God, 50 and 100. Let the games begin. Well, at least I can calculate the number of bigs everybody has. It's a little easier. If I win this tournament, you're the best director. You did a great job all week.
It's
It's
50-50.
The tournament director there in the background with the suit and tie. Jake Wildling doing a great job. Here he goes again. Josh Smith under the gun. Ace-4 suited. Shoves it in. He's going to get around to at least Carter Myers, who does release the King 9 suited. So back-to-back jams, back-to-back wins for Josh Smith.
There's only one guy at this table who's below, I guess. Me and this guy.
Why, Josh, how much are you playing?
I don't know.
No, I don't.
It's not enough to make a difference to that.
No, every chip makes a difference right now. But when you got about 700.
Yeah, right around there. 400. Yeah, right about 8.
Cutler in the cutoff, suited ace-8, just lets it go. Myers with the big stack. Looks like he's going to raise it.
3 calls.
And Bales snap calls. Smith 3-bets all in over the top. Carter ditches it. The 2 short stacks here. I think Bales realized he just gave away 150,000. Hard to call with a queen 10 in the spot, knowing that at best you're flipping against some sort of middling pair, or you could very easily be crushed.
Oh, way to go, buddy.
So Josh Smith is indeed a short stack ninja. He's worked his way off the short stack. He's up to 1.35 million, and now it's Kurt Bales as the shorty.
We're getting it all in there. Look at in the short stack ninja. I'm at the point now. You guys better be careful, but I don't care. 5th place sounds great.
Yeah, in the meantime, you
4th, 5th, 6th,
Hey,
whatever
hey.
place it is sounds great.
I have a feeling you just picked up 400,000 with no competition. That's like
You gonna get ready for it? Uh-oh. I don't know. You've been nice to me so far.
I fold.
You are the man right now, Jacoby. You just made me 20 G's. 20 G's on a dirty style.
200. 2 raises to 200.
All right.
3 folds, 6 folds.
I'm not angle shooting and saying I fold. So if I pull back cards, I change my mind. But once I verbalize it,
Myers with the min raise from the cutoff block. They already got 100K invested. 100K more to see a flop. He's getting 4-1 on a call.
7 checks.
Give it a second here for the flop to register. There it is. Not much for block. Myers with bottom pair and a gut shot. Goes check, check on the flop and on the turn. And there is Broadway for Myers. Fortunately for him, he's not going to get any other chips out of this pot unless block bluffs at it. And it looks like he might.
7 bets, 225.
Exactly what Myers needed to get some chips out of his opponent. Because a block check, Myers would have bet, and that would have been the end of the hand. Instead, Myers is going to pose a little bit. He's going to put in the raise with the nuts, and block will have no recourse but to give it up.
2 raises.
that was great.
That was
I
sly. I
folded,
like
take
that
the chips
one.
back with it. Keep them honest, Judge. Keep them honest. Yeah, that was a good one. Those New Yorkers, they'll do anything. They lie, cheat, and steal your
Nothing bad happens in Chicago.
That's why I live on the North Shore in a gated community. Okay?
Yeah. Then you're not pro.
I don't go south of 22nd and Cottage Grove. Forget about it. I'm a sheltered Jewish boy from the north suburbs.
There you go.
Be an interesting hand developing here. Myers under the gun opens Jack 10.
200, 3
Smith ace 8 suited. If he was a little shorter, he might have. Oh, and there it goes. He's going to shove it. Ace 8. Little does he know. Cutler on the big blind.
folds, 8 is all.
Pocket kings, jams it over the top. Yeah. Smith knows his goose is cooked when he gets snap called like that behind. But he's got outs. Looking for an ace or some hearts.
That's bingo.
So you can tell by his reaction there, that flop didn't help him. Not a single heart, no ace. Oh, it was actually a set for Cutler, so Smith drawing dead on the turn. Josh Smith out of Bettendorf, Iowa, won his way into this event on a $250 satellite. He's going to walk away in 5th place for $23,981.
That works until the last time.
But he had a legitimate
Not only that, his 5th place finish comes 1 year, I'm sorry, less than a year. Back in November, he finished 15th in the MSPT Meskwaki for $5,000. So 2 nice deep runs for Josh Smith. But now we're down to 4 players.
got away from the stand. Look, I'm not going to. The young people love to play. First of all, there aren't that many bigs, so there's a mathematical issue about the number of bigs that require the equity and the shove. 50.
Yep.
Does anybody know how much his stack
Three
was?
folds.
I normally ask for a chip count. I didn't want to slow roll them.
On days you had it covered.
More than
He
that.
said he was like
He was up
around
to over
8 or
a million.
9.
Yeah.
Was he was
Yeah,
at
seven
he was at 800, and then he got that 500K
It's like
reshot.
9 or
so he was
1
up
million.
more.
Oh yeah.
I'd say
You know,
it was like
you know
1.2.
what? This is really sick. This is really sick, but I'm going to give you a walk.
Should I look?
And I had a good hand.
10-4, good play.
What'd you have?
I do believe that is the first walk of this final table. That's hand number 75.
I don't know how much I'm excited. I got to get some chips. Howard, I just busted number 5. Pocket kings against AC suited. 3.4 million. Howard, will you text my kids on the group that I've got 3.4 million beforehand? I'll give you my phone. Hush. Okay.
Indeed, with that knockout, Cutler's moved up to 3.5 million,
For an hour and 10 minutes.
just behind Carter Myers, who has 3.6 million. So,
Can you go get my strategy book out of the locker?
and we're going to see a all-in situation here. Myers, small blind, ace king, Bales, pocket 5s in the big blind. He's the short stack. And there it is. Myers shoves, Bales calls off, and we are off to the races. Bales looking to hold. Myers looking for an ace or king. He finds neither, but he does pick up a Broadway draw to a 10. 9 outs headed to the turn. And there's the king. Bales now down to 2 outs. Needs a high 5 on the river, or he's going to be our 4th place finisher.
He was playing with you. Nice meeting you.
Hey, congratulations.
All right, thank you.
Got to be happy with that.
Kurt Bales out of Cedar Falls, Iowa, the last
And there were 3.
player from Iowa in the field in the 2017 Iowa State Poker Championship, is out the door in 4th place for $31,415. Not too shabby for his first ever MSPT cash. And that means, ladies and gentlemen, that the Iowa State Poker Championship for the 2nd year in a row is going to leave the Buckeye State.
You had 3 million?
3.4.
Thank you, sir. You're a gentleman. Good button.
Three players remaining. Carter Myers is the chip leader, 4.5 million.
Two ratings, 200.
Myers looking to take this title back to Breckenridge, Michigan, home to his amazing girlfriend Alicia and his daughter Piper. But to do so, he's got to try to outlast New York's Keith Block
It's our destiny card.
and Illinois'
Big pot together. It's gonna be
Alan Cutler.
I know that's close.
Cutler looks down at an ace in the small blind. Myers with an ace in the big blind, both with weak kickers, but three-handed. Any ace looks good. Block on the button lets it go. Whenever Cutler grabs a big stack, it's meant to raise is coming.
Eight raises 250.
And he does raise it up. Myers gonna defend from the big. Good chance this pot ends up in a chop if it gets to a showdown.
Eight bets 320.
Both players flop a wheel draw. Need to pair the other, need to hit the other player's kicker to make it. Myers needs a 3. Cutler needs a deuce. Bet and a call. And the paired 5 on the turn. Both players right now playing the same hand, ace high. Let's see if one can outplay the other.
Two bets 550.
ready to go with this one.
Cutler does go with this one. If he somehow finds a shove, takes down this pot, he would take over the chip lead. Be the first time at this final table that Carter Myers would lose it. But if Cutler folds, Myers is just going to add to it. Looks like Cutler wants to pull a trigger here, wants to do something. But now he's going to give it up.
I like it. I got a big hand and a big draw.
So yeah, after the mannerisms, after the speech, no way he's going with it. Lets it go, and Carter Myers takes it down up to 5.3 million. Cutler drops to 2.8. Block sitting on 1.8. There you see it.
Tell me you beat ace. Hold it the best hand again. You're smiling. You just might have had a pair of hearts. You might have had nothing, but I think you had something. That's okay. We're going to get the button every third hand, so it's going to even out.
Cutler's got the button on this hand. Jack 10 suited.
I'm waiting for them. Okay, beautiful.
Eight raises 275.
With authority, spikes in a raise. That's going to do the trick.
You know why I'm showing you my cards? Even up the handicap.
gotta admit it. Whether you think I'm, you know, doing something, it's entertaining, right? You know, having a little fun. You know? I just, you know, with the beard and the red, I just think every time he bets, he's bluffing. Every single time. I know he's not bluffing every time. I don't love bluff chips. That's fine.
Two raises to 200. So,
Okay, let's see a flop.
big heads up.
Raise from Myers. Cutler is going to defend the big blind. Sort of hands that if the right flop comes out, there could be fireworks, but can't see the flop right now. There it comes. That's the sort of flop I'm talking about. Cutler, top two pair. Myers, open-ended straight draw.
Big
Cutler just going to play it slow. Myers looking for a 6 or a jack. Instead, he pairs up his 9.
checks. Two checks.
Cutler picks up a club draw.
Two calls, 8 bets.
Is that, you called already?
420.
I have 420 and 2 calls.
You got 10.
Cutler bets 420. It looked like Myers immediately flicked in a chip to call it. Dealer just had it counted out. Cutler gonna win the pot. 1.8 million. Closes the gap between him and Myers a bit.
Of course I love the flop. I'm not too sure. I think they were top 2, I think.
Block the short stack of the remaining 3 players on the button. Gonna pop it. Cutler ditches his hand. Myers here. King 9, not a bad hand with 3 players left. He's got the chip lead. 100K invested. I'd expect nothing less than a call, and that's what he does. Heads up to the flop.
Two checks.
Myers, who picks up the king high flush draw, checks it over to block. He's got the 7 of hearts.
Seven checks.
He's going to check it behind. And there is a 4th heart on the board. Myers with the king of hearts best. Coyley checks it over to block.
7 checks.
Checks his flush behind. Both players slow playing this. King on the river. Good card for Myers. Not in that it pairs his king, because that's irrelevant. In that he hopes block thinks it just paired his king and might call a bet with his 7 high flush. So Myers going to come out probably 300, 350.
2 bets. 335.
Right in between, 335. Block quickly calls, And he's going to discover the bad news.
235. 335.
So Myers takes block to value Tom there. And it climbs over 5 million in chips, while block drops down to 1 million in chips.
45K. I could pay off the bookie, the markers, and make my child support payment all in the same month.
Indeed, the next player out will get $45,324. You see the payouts there on the right-hand side of your screen. Block down to 10 big blinds.
You know, Howard, behind your back they call you the mush. If I win this tournament, you will never be the mush again. You'll be the match. It's from a movie, The Bronze Stick. Oh, yeah. Are you? You're not Jewish, are you? I have no idea. I don't know what Hank and I don't know your religion. I don't know you. Are you Jewish?
Off the camera there, Howard Hankin. If you've played in the Midwest, you're probably familiar with Howard. He likes to tell a bad beat story or two.
I had no idea.
In fact, he used to do the popular To Hell with Howard video series. You can still find those videos on our Facebook page, where our very own MSPT Eric would sit down with Howard and find out just how his tournaments were going. There's actually a very popular Facebook group, Hands with Howard, where players get together, share their stories about Howard. Three-handed. Some pretty powerful hands for these guys. Myers is going to race to 200K on the button. Block ships it. Cutler. 2 paint cards here. Stuck in between. What's he gonna do? Well, now he's kind of giving up some information, not the sort of thing you want to say when you have somebody left to act behind you. Probably means a fold is coming, but Carter with an ace-10 likely going to look him up. Indeed, that's exactly what happens. So block.
Oh my God, I folded King Jack just so you know.
His tournament life on the line needs to improve.
And I'm guaranteed second place based on the stacks.
Block, though, flops a flush draw. 13 outs, queen, 9, or club. That's not one of them. He's got one more pull at it. And it is not there.
Keith, congratulations. Very happy for you. That's so sick. I can't verbalize because you're pending behind me, Carter. But I was going to call with King Jack because I knew. But I got you behind me. And I'm like, if I go all in, you go all in. I'm like, I'm guaranteed second place if I bust. But not if he triples up, I'm not. Oh, that was so sick.
Oh, Keith Block out of Pomona, New York, who finished runner-up in the MSPT Golden Gates Regional earlier this year for $66,387, is going to exit here in third place for $45,324. That's over $100,000 in MSPT earnings in 2017. Congratulations to Keith Block. And that's going to leave us with Carter Myers out of Breckenridge, Michigan, and Alan Cutler, the Chicagoland area, battling it out for this 2017 MSPT Iowa State Poker Championship. Myers holds a lead, $6.2 million to Cutler's $3.7 million.
Okay, well, you were the button last time, so it's gotta go.
These players guaranteed $69,545, but of course, they're hoping to capture that title and the $115,000 that comes with it. And in the first hand of heads-up play, Myers looks down at pocket aces. Cutler, Queen 4, just limps. See how Myers wants to play it.
Two raises, 300.
Comes in with the raise.
How much?
3 total. Take calls.
Cutler makes the call. Misses the flop, but Myers flops top set. He's not going to slow down.
250.
He's going to wish he did.
Big hand.
So first blood to Carter Myers.
Well, you had both of them. I saw the first one. I didn't know. You need to see the other one. Nice hit. Crack open that bottle. Let's have some shots.
I'm in.
Bottle of Kimosabe Mezcal there next to the winner's trophy.
And so whoever wins the pot does a shot of tequila until it's over or it's empty. And by the way, I'm Jewish. 5 or 6 shots, I'll be on the table. I'll be on the floor.
2 or 3 all right. Two raises to 200.
Let's play for fun.
8 raises to 500. Two calls.
So Myers raises 200,000. Cutler with a 3-bet. Myers is going to look him up with a 5-3 suited. These two not afraid to play. Both players miss. Cutler, first to act. He's got some backdoor
8 bets.
possibilities. He's going to continuation bet. That's 40% of the pot. Myers looks like he's going to float him here. He likes that 6 of spades. It's a nice pivot card, but that's not going to help him.
8 checks.
Let's see if he pulls the trigger here. I think that was his intention when he just flatted that flop. Cutler checks it. Oh, Myers checks behind. See if he might want to try it on the river. 2 checks to him. He can't win it unless he bets it. 1.8 million in there. He's going to fire something. 700,000 maybe? No, all in. Fortunately for him, Cutler had nothing.
Alright, this isn't working out. That stuff is not working out for me. I haven't won a tournament since like 2012. I haven't played heads up since then. A little rusty. We'll get it back. How many events have you taken first or second?
I have a lot of shots.
Okay, then you've got really good heads up experience of losing.
Yes.
This is as fun as it gets, doesn't it? You know what? If I lose, I'm going to walk away with $60,000 after I tip out the floor. So it's pretty good.
And here we go, folks. Cutler flops the wheel. Myers open-ended. Let's see.
Checks. 8 bets. 200.
This pot certainly could have got out of hand on the flop, but it looks right now it's just going to be a check call from Myers. Does not improve. They may very well, pay off a bet on the river. There are 3 diamonds on board.
8 bets. 400.
He doesn't, though. He says, "No, I'm not going to give you any value this time." Looks like he showed Myers. Myers is going to be happy he didn't push that flop hard.
Who knocked him out? You did. No, you weren't here. I folded King Jack pre-flop against Queen 9 Ace 10, and I was gonna play the hand three-way all in, and I'm guaranteed second unless he wins. Howard, I'm heads up. Howard, we're heads up. We really don't want to hear from the gallery now.
Two raises to 200. Checks. Two bets, 200. Eight raises.
Myers, middle pair, Cutler, flush draw here. Myers raised it pre-flop, just a min-raise to 200,000. Cutler defended, then checked the flop, and here he is with a check raise. 600K. Myers gonna call, and we got a 1.6 million chip pot brewing. See what the turn is. Air for Cutler. But it doesn't look like that's going to stop him.
8 bets, 750.
Myers calls him. 3.1 million in the pot. Cutler with just 1.2 million behind him. He's looking for a diamond or an 8. He gets neither. See if he shuts it down. He'd be left with 12 bigs. Or if he tries to bluff at it, he shuts it down. Myers, he's got showdown value. He checks it behind. And you see there, Cutler, a frustrated Cutler.
Unbelievable, I couldn't get you off that hand. I guess I shoved the river. You have to fold. Nice hand. Oh, well, that's the dealer's fault if I can't hit a couple of boards. No one's going to say I'm afraid to get my chips in. You know what I mean? Heads up, flush draw. You know what? I thought if I hit any pair, I'm good. But then I thought, maybe you got a king, so I could have pre-barreled you that something.
Well, the way this heads-up match has gone thus far, I think these two are going to get it in sooner than later.
If you have a king or any pair you caught me a busted draw. But I bet it with conviction because I thought this dealer was going to do it for me.
Cutler flirted with the chip lead for a while, but so far Myers has gone wire to wire at this final table through 89 hands.
8 raises.
Cutler on the button, 9-4 offsuit. Going to try to make something happen. Myers hasn't put his cards on the reader, so he's playing our Kimosabe mystery shot.
Eight raised to 2 or 8 raised to 2.
Oh, no longer a mystery. And there they come, 10-5 versus 9-4.
2 checks.
Whatever these talk concern.
Don't know the flop yet. There's a 5 for Myers. Lets it go. Cutler had the worst pair of 4s.
I'll show you one card.
Ooh, Myers thinking, oh, I could have maybe ended it right there. One minute, 36 seconds left in this level.
The only reason I deserve to win is the Iowa colors. And I told it yesterday. I'm wearing the Hawkeye colors. It's my destiny to be the Iowa champion. Big Hawkeye, Buckeye fan, whatever. I don't even know if they're called Hawkeyes. Big Buckeye. No, because Ohio State is where my son's girlfriend.
That's right, Hawkeyes. I misspoke earlier. My apologies to the Iowa fans out there. I believe I said Buckeyes earlier, which would be, of course, Ohio. A little slip of the tongue by me. My apologies. It's the Iowa Hawkeyes. Myers gonna shove. Cutler gonna fold.
You win. Well, I'm from Missouri, but my son graduated from Butler University for his MBA and did Kelly School of Business for his undergrad. So I guess I'm a fan of Big Ten.
I myself attended the University of Wisconsin-Madison.
Let's see if she can get into college with any of these scores. Did I just say that on national TV?
Take calls. Two's on.
Hi, Billy.
That's going to be the last hand of level 31. Blinds going up, 60,000, 120, 20,000 Annie.
You and I, you doubled me up once or twice. We're going to battle for a couple of hours. Oh, lines went up? Oh my God.
28.
Sure. And I have to pay the extra juice.
Myers, 7-3 offsuit. Cutler, King Queen. He's going to like that as the short stack.
2 raised to 250.
250 from Myers. Cutler is going to shove it. Myers going to let it go.
I just realized that I've got $1 billion to your $9 billion. Oh, this will be a big deficit even for me. What happened to the 60 I left out? Confused. Because I don't trust him. He's stealing. I've got enough chips here. He's stealing. Lying.
Cutler, 9-7 offsuit.
Take calls.
There's the limp. Myers
2 checks.
just going to call with King 7. Put a 7 or 2 on this flop. Things could get interesting.
2 checks.
Instead, it is Myers with top pair. Cutler with a gut shot. Check, check. Myers improves to trips while Cutler picks up a flush draw.
Bales, 200. Take calls.
Myers with a 200,000 bet. Cutler calls it. to the river, which is a queen of spades. Myers with the best of it. Trip kings. That's going to do it.
Just a little help. I'm so happy to take second because my goal was to be the top 3, so I feel like I've already won. But if I overcome this chip stack, that would be a really nice thing. Not gonna surrender these. I might do a Mike Madison blow up and just all that huge crap. All in? Good timing. I had 7 9. Yeah. Because if you just raise 2.5 bigs and I got it and I get a pair, I have a bad pair to your better pair. I think you know at this point that if I hit any pair, I'm probably shoving you. Until I get the chip seat shot. By the way, it's not over, baby. I'm coming back. We got 6. I still have 9.
Cutler just calls with the king 10 suited. Myers with an inferior 10 checks his option. And wow, Myers just snap folds, flopping middle pair there. Good thing he did, as Cutler had the best of it.
It's so sick. Your chip stack is 9.1 million. Oh, but you want to hear what's really sad? If I double to 2, 4, 8, 3 double ups, and you're crippled. You don't think that's possible? Very possible. Thank you. So, just so you know, in my rule, the winner pays for the after hours part. Like drugs, sex, alcohol, and lobsters, and it's on your tab. Are you single or married? Yeah, well, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. We'll just pretend we're there.
Cutler 8-5 suited, going to come in with a raise. Myers king 9, pretty good hand heads up. But he just lets it go. I'm pretty shocked right there that he wouldn't at least call and take a flop with king 9.
What? How comes your call?
Guess my only assumption would be that Myers wants to be the aggressor. I'll just pick a better spot.
I was trying to talk to you about a safety net. That didn't work out.
And here we go, folks. Myers shoves the button, 10-9. Cutler calls it off with ace-king. Cutler got it in good, but if Myers can find a 9-10 or some sort of straight combo, this could be over. Not much there for Myers, and 8 gives him some runner-runner options. He's right now drawn to 6 outs. That's not it. He's actually...
10 of diamonds.
10 of diamonds would give Cutler the flush. Oh, it's the 10 of clubs. Wow. Myers hits one of his 5-outer. And just like that, Carter Myers wins the 2017 Iowa State Poker Championship here at Meskwaki Casino. He's going to take home $115,109.
Time ago, you got a lot of players.
Alan Cutler, meanwhile, is going to finish runner-up for $69,545. Something tells me he's going to be very excited about that. But Myers is the man of this tournament. Congratulations to Michigan's Carter Meyer on winning the 2017 MSPT Iowa State Poker Championship. I'm Chad Holloway in the booth. Thanks for joining us. Our next stop will be the Indiana State Poker Championship in August at Tropicana Evansville. Hope to see you then. Good night from Meskwaki Casino.